Hi, this video is for those of you that need a little bit more advice about the MyMaths where you are solving quadratics with graphs. So let's get cracking. So this is a question that I've made. It's not the same as the ones that are on MyMaths, but this one says shown below is the graph of y equals x squared minus x minus 6. And so that's this graph here. The first question said give the solutions of exactly that graph. Now the solutions of the graph are found when x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. They're sometimes also called roots of the graph. Okay, they're found when this graph equals 0, and so that happens here. In other words, when I plug 3 in, I get out 0. Remember, this is your in and this is your out. So when I plug in 3, I get out 0, and so x equals 3 is one of the solutions. Have a look. Can you see which the other one is? Yeah, that's right, it's negative 2. Okay, dead easy. Draw a line to find the solutions to this equation. Now, to find the solutions would happen when x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. But we've got the graph of x squared minus x minus 6. So what I'm going to try to do is try to produce this within this left-hand side here. So the way to do that is to, well, x squared minus x is going to match. I'm going to have minus 6, and I'm actually going to put that I've got an extra plus 4 equals 0. So I'm still, these two things are exactly the same. Okay, is it true? Is minus 6 plus 4 exactly the same as minus 2? It is. Okay, and so this, as well as this, they will both find the solutions. Okay, but what's really important is that I've selected to use this part here which matches this equation. Okay, if this equation had minus 5, then I'd put minus 5 plus 3, because minus 5 plus 3 would be minus 2. Okay, now that stuff will equal 0 when x squared minus x minus 6 equals negative 4, taking away 4 off each side. Now, these two things will be equal to each other if y equals that and y equals that. These aren't fractions, by the way, this is just me underlining stuff. Okay, I've got the graph of y equals this stuff. The graph of y equals negative 4 is there. Okay, y equals negative 4 is there. So when these two graphs are the same, which happens here and here, when these two graphs are the same, this whole thing is equal to 0, which means that this is equal to 0, which means that we have the solutions. So essentially what's happening is, look at the equation that you're trying to get, let it equal to 0 because that will find your solutions, and try to produce this somewhere in it. Okay, so the solutions happen when x equals 2 and when x equals negative 1. So the equation of the line was y equals negative 4. Sorry, I should have put that on there. There's two negatives there. Negative 4. And we've got the other part, which is the roots of the equation are found when x equals 2 and when x equals negative 1. Is it true if I plug 2 into this, do I get 0 out? Well, yeah, 2 squared is 4. Take away 2 is 0. Fine. Okay, and the same sort of thing happens with the negative 1. All right, so next slide. Here's a really similar question. I suggest pausing it, have a try at it, see if you can try to produce it. You might need to rewind the video and have another look at it, and then I'll go through it. Okay, so hopefully you had a little try, and hopefully you've managed to get it right, but let's see what you've managed to do. So give the solutions of the original equation. Well, they look about 1.5 and negative 3. So x equals 1.5, x equals negative 3. Okay, draw a line to find the solutions to this thing. Now the solutions to this thing, 2x squared plus 3x minus 5, the solutions will equal when that equals 0. Okay, that's when the solutions will happen. Let's try to produce this within this. So we've got 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 plus 4. Is it true? Does minus 9 plus 4, does that make negative 5? Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, that will be true if 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 is equal to negative 4. So instead of plus 4, make a minus 4. And so what we've got is we've got the graph of this, y equals that thing. We've got that drawn. When is that graph going to be the same as this graph? Okay, so the equation of the line that I'm going to need to draw, it just so happens that it's negative 4 again. Okay, we're going to go across through negative 4. I should be using a ruler, but I don't have that option on this thing. And we've got the roots of this equation happen when x is 1 and when x is negative 2.5. So x equals 1, x equals negative 2.5. Alright, so that's the first page of the MyMaths task. It's quite a nice one, but we're going to move on to the more difficult one now. So, shown below is a cubic. By drawing a suitable line, find the solution to the cubic equals the linear 0.5x plus 3.5. Now this cubic is exactly the same. In fact, actually on the last slide I said this was more difficult. It's probably a little bit easier, to be fair. This cubic is exactly the same as this cubic, which is exactly the same as the graph that we've got drawn, okay? Nothing special. When is it going to be that this cubic is going to equal this line here? So the way to do this, let's pick some values of x and y and let's plot it. Have a think, how do I know that that's going to be a straight line? Well, the reason I know that's going to be a straight line is because there's no squares, no cubes, no roots. It's made up just with something x plus something that looks really, really standard, nothing too scary. Alright, let's try some values of x. We've got 0.5. 0.5 times by 0 is 0, plus 3.5 would be 3.5. What happens if x is 1? 0.5 times 1 is 0.5, plus 3.5 is 4. What happens if x is 2? 0.5 times 2 is 1. 1 plus 3.5 is 4.5. Okay, and you can start to see the pattern. Okay, so when x is negative 2, we plot at 2.5. When x is negative 1, we plot at 3. When x is 0, we plot at 3.5. When x is 1, we plot at 4. And when x is 2, we plot at 4.5. And so we end up with a line. Obviously you should use a ruler that looks like that. Okay, what's the solution? Well, there you go. Okay, the solution is found on that coordinate. Now the solution, there's only x's included within this, so we've got the solution is 1. Okay, it can be that you could be asked to find you know, the coordinates or something like that. It could be phrased within the question, but generally that doesn't tend to happen at GCSE. You just have to give the x value, okay, which is x equals 1. Alright, hopefully that helps with your MyMaths. Get in touch with your teacher if you need anything extra, but fingers crossed that should do you. Alright, thanks, bye.